Professor Black Ops, Cybersecurity for the People. Super quick article. Critical flaws affecting GE Universal Relay poses threat to electric utilities. The United States Cybersecurity Infrastructure Agency, CISA, has warned of critical security shortcomings of GE Universal Relay family of power management. These power stuff and utilities control the large part of the United States power grid. Successful exploitation of these vulnerabilities could allow attackers to access sensitive information, reboot the UR, gain privileged access, or call denial of service conditions, the agency said in an advisory published on March the 16th. GE Universal Relays enable integrated monitoring, metering, and high-speed communications, offer simplified power management for the protection of critical assets. Those critical assets, once again, is the United States electric power grid. The file, which affects numbers of UR advanced protection control relays, including B30, B19, C30, etc., were addressed by GE with the release of update versions of UR firmware 8.10, made available on December 24th, 2020. The patches resolved 9 vulnerabilities, the most important which concerns an insecure default variable initiation, referring to the initialization of internal variables in the software with an insecure value. By sending the crafted request, an attacker could exploit the vulnerabilities to bypass access restrictions, IBM noted. In its alert, a second severe vulnerability relates to unused hard-coded credentials in the bootloader binary. Once again, we hard-coding passwords into the relay, which could be exploited by an attacker which physically accesses the UR intelligent electronic device, can interrupt the boot sequence by booting the UR. Also fixed by G is another high security vulnerability that could permit an unauthorized user to upgrade firmware without the appropriate privileges, meaning you can slide in code that you want to run and take over the electric grid. Further vulnerabilities include 2 proper input validations, 2 flaws concerning exposure to sensitive information to unauthorized parties, thereby exposing the device to cross-site scripting attacks, permitting the attacker to access critical information without authentication, and even to render the web server unresponsive. CISA recommends users take defensive measures to minimize the risk of exploitation of these vulnerabilities, minimize network exposure for all control system devices and/or system, and ensure that they are inaccessible from the internet, network, and remote devices behind firewalls, and isolate them from the business network. Those are all common business security practices. So let's look at the, see if we can find the CISA actually, what they actually said about it. Let's see if we can find the CISA. Actually, the CISA notation for it, the agency said, that's it right there. So that's the actual CISA advisory. So we're not going to read it. I'm going to put in the link. That article summarized all the vulnerabilities and all attacks. So that's actually the actual CISA advisory from the United States government. I actually will put that in the description box. Once again, cybersecurity for the people, Black Ops. So one thing you have to remember personally, if somebody shuts down our grid for a week, what would you do if you didn't have power to your house for a week? You got to have your internal critical assets for your plan, for your personal family, if you couldn't have power for a week. Once again, Professor Black Ops, Cybersecurity for the People. Have a great night.